Aw, how cute! It's a new Snuggles commercial. You guys remember Snuggles, right?
Hi, I'm Snuggles. Snuggly softness. That's really less expensive.
Holy Christ! No, I'm out. I'm not doing this. Is he gone? Looks it. What the hell was that? He could give Teddy Ruxpin nightmares. It's like Snuggles is going through his 90s goth phase or something. Do you need some fabric softener? Well, I've got the best product for you. Snuggles Extreme 90s Fabric Softener. Clean your laundry to the extreme. Merry Christmas, everyone. I think he's back.
Get your wash snugly soft ever after.
Welcome, I am the Kaiju no Kami, and for Christmas I am reviewing Kraken Releasing's release of Garo Season 1 for Blu-ray. Series creator Keita Amemiya is no stranger to the realm of Tokusatsu. His career goes back as early as the 80s, as he is credited for having worked on various episodes from Dynaman, Maskman, Liveman, Jetman, Jew Ranger, Wind Spectre, Kamen Rider Black, Kamen Rider Decade, and Jiban. He was also the director of the Kamen Rider Zeto and J movies from the 90s. Other credits of his include being the character designer to the video games Onimusha 2, Clock Tower 3, and Shin Megami Tensei 4, along with the anime series Iria Zairam. Thus, it was only fitting that with the help of writer Yuji Kobayashi, he would come to create his own tokusatsu series, one which was geared towards adults. Garo aired late on Friday nights, frequently featuring blood, violence, and nudity, all which had become a rarity for Toku in this day and age. Additionally, the series was built around horror, so each episode feels like it is a short horror film while building on a larger story. Despite this, to those who may not know anything about Garo, the best way I can describe it is it's like Kamen Rider meets Devil May Cry meets Onimusha. The heroes. If a character in this show has a pretty cool coat, there's a 99% chance that they are a hero. Our main hero, or Makai Knight as they are called, is Koga Saejima, played by Ryosei Konishi. Koga's father Taiga donned the title and armor of Garo before him, but he was killed protecting his son against a ring wraith. This event changed Koga's life forever as he threw away his emotions in order to take his father's place as the protector of humanity. Actually, wait, that's not entirely correct, as the Makai Knights are not actually the protectors of humanity. That makes the show even more interesting because the Makai Knights are not supposed to act as superheroes like the Kamen Riders, Ultraman, and the Rangers of Sentai. They are simply there to kill horrors, and that is it. Nothing more, nothing less. If they don't follow orders and put the safety of a human over killing a demon, they may be punished. With that said, Koga ends up rescuing an artist named Karu Mitsuki, only for her to end up being splattered in the blood of one of the horrors. According to the rules, a Makai Knight is required to kill anyone who bathed in their blood. Only Koga decides to use Karu as bait, since her scent will attract other horrors to her.
何をためらっている? この女が浴びた血の匂いに誘われて、ホラーが次々と現れるはずだ。つまりこいつを生かしておけば、今後も狩りが楽に進む。
Of course, Karu has no idea about this and ends up believing that she just has a strain of bad luck. which she actually kind of does, because of a lot of times she does end up running into a horror just by accident, not because of her blood scent. It's kind of funny because it does give us some great comedy moments from Koga and Zaruba.
Oi, あの女。
どうした？
ホラとご一緒だ。
またか。
This plan ends up getting Koga into a lot of trouble as both he and Karu start to have feelings for each other.
Of course!
Which is developed throughout the show. Also, if you did not notice this, Karu is played by Mika Hiji, who is the Orchid Undead in Kamen Rider Blade. What's even funnier is that her dad is played by Katsuyuki Murai, who played the Rose Orphanach in Kamen Rider Fies.
お前は剣士じゃない。だから絵を描けばいいんだ。その絵が誰かの力になることもある。
As if the Kamen Rider connection wasn't strong enough, Fies' Rei Fujita, the Dragon Orphanach, plays our second Makai Knight, Rei Suzumura, also known as Zero. Zero is from the Western Division and is not supposed to interfere with Koga's duties, who is on the East.
Stay off the west side.
However, Zero has a bone to pick with Koga, so he will often interrupt Koga's battle with his petty squabbles, or even go as far as to try to kill Karu on a few occasions. Their first clash is hands down one of the best battles of the entire series. Physics be damned. As the series progresses, both Koga and Rei have to learn how to fight together, or the entire world is at peril. I have to say that I really love the designs for the armor of both Garo and Zero. You can tell they were both forged by the same beings, but the designs are unique enough and more than just color to tell them apart. According to the series lore, the one who wields the armor of Garo is supposed to be of the highest honors, and the one that all Makai Knights look up to. Similar to Ultraman, each Makai Knight has a 99.9 second time limit placed upon them the moment they transform. There is a reason behind it, though we don't actually learn what it is until the end of the series. Thus, to tell you would ruin the surprise. In addition, they have swords and lighters that can detect a possessed human for weapons. Also, both Zero and Garo have their own steeds, which brings about some pretty awesome battles. If there's anything negative I have to say about it, it is that Zero's horse is barely used. Our trio are not alone in their quest though, as there are several others to help them out. First off is that both Koga and Zero have living jewelry to assist them. Koga's ring is named Zaruba, while Zero's is a necklace named Silva. Io Rakasa voices Silva, who is most known as Katra Rababa Winner in Gundam Wing and Lakirio in Kyuruger.
Zero? もしかして、あの女のこと。
She is also the Japanese dub voice for Tommy Pickles in Rugrats and Astronema in Power Rangers in Space. Zaruba is voiced by musician Hironobu Kagayama.
おっと、お前さんは金には興味ないのかね。
What the
金こそ遠き昔から人間を狂わせる最強の麻薬だぞ。
Koga has a personal butler named Gonzo Kirahashi, who is played by Gamera Heisei Trilogy's Yukichiro Hotoru.
ゴンザの口に合えば俺も認めてやろう。
それは。
The Makai Knights are also assisted by lesser warriors called Makai Priests. In this series we get to meet two of them, an old man named Amon and his former apprentice Jabi. Jabi is played by Ultraman Nex's Yasue Sato. Jabi's pretty cool, she... Oh god! She's already raising the red flags. This is not a good sign.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
Finally, Koga is given his orders from a trio of girls called the Watchdogs. Their names are Hill, Belle, and Rose, or Cerberus if you combine their names.
女を助けたそうですね。ホラーの返り血を浴びた人間は抹殺しなければなりません。あの女の匂いをホラーが嗅ぎつけますよ。
They also have their own badass butler named Kodama, who is played by Mark Musashi. Mark Musashi is a stuntman who is also the suit actor for Zero, along with doing the stunts in tons of shows like Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Iron Fist, along with mocapping for video games like The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, and Resident Evil 6. He was also in the recent Vin Diesel movie The Last Witch Hunter. The villains. While Garo does have central villains that are revealed in the second half of the series, the vast majority of it is about the horrors and how their possessions affect people.
Get over here! Would that I could have that sound to lull me to sleep each night.
It's a pretty cool concept. Basically, people who have some sort of sin, be it being greedy, jealous, angry, whatever, are easy prey for horrors who will barter with the person for their biggest desires.
You will die. You will die slowly. Your eyes will burst and some horrible stuff.
Shush! Shut up! Quit trying to push us around!
This will often leave us to know a little bit about the individual possessed throughout the episode, which will often make the audience sympathize with their dilemma as they are just normal everyday lamentations.
無理だ。ホラーに憑依された時、お前の肉体は滅んだんだ。
For example, we have an episode where a bar owner's pianist fiance was killed. This drives her into madness, so she starts to kill and collect the fingers of other pianists.
綺麗な指ね。
The Iceman cometh. Jill, let's kick some ice.
Icebreakers. Stay cool.
There's also one about a lonely computer programmer, played by Time Ranger's Time Fire, Shinji Kasahara, who comes across a strange fish that he ends up bonding with. The man becomes a serial killer as he continues to feed the fish women so she can take on the form of a human. Okay, maybe sympathetic was not the right term to use.
でももういないの。
Well, I guess the bartender is kind of sympathetic. I mean, she did lose her fiance. How about the artist? Can you really not feel for him that all these years of people telling him he's a crappy artist and stuff, he keeps on going and that a horror takes advantage of it and turns him into a mass murderer? Maybe. Either way, mankind is an evil unto itself, so these horrors have plenty to feed off of, which makes for a lot of unique episodes. Although not every horror is the same. There's one story featuring a horror that bonds itself to a watch, so it kills people who wear it. My favorite horrors include Ishtar, a game show host named Dandelion,
リプシーがシャングリラの七色天使に会いに行った途中のコロシアムで出会った女が7人。魔物が7匹、狼が7匹、鳩が7羽、それぞれ荷物が7つ。荷物の中にはモンシロチョウが7匹。さて、七色天使に出会えたのは
Asmodai, a clown. One that is clearly inspired by the Ghosts in the Ring and Ju-on series named Lunarkin. Moloch. And Pazuzu.
Hi, everybody!
Hi, Dr. Nick!
Another thing I like about these horrors is that they all have a standard base form that changes once they possess a human. It gives the show a video game feel, as the first boss, as it were, ends up becoming just a standard grunt for our knights to fight. As I already mentioned, there are a couple of main villains, with the biggest threat being an evil Makai Knight called Kiba, who has like the most badass introduction ever. His assistant Garamu, who also just happens to have a hula hoop for a weapon. Of course, you can kind of say that these reviews have come full circle. No boo? No clap? Okay. Sadly, that is all I can really say about these two without delving into major spoiler material. The effects and music. Garo has without a doubt some of the greatest effects work out of all the Toku series out there, which is also enhanced by a fantastic gothic soundtrack. Sure, some of the CGI used in the show does look dated, especially when remastered into high definition. Nevertheless, the show's atmosphere, its fight choreography, its interesting horrors, the suspense some episodes will bring, and its excellent use of cinematography all distract you enough to the point where you would rarely even think about the subpar CGI. It also helps that the Garo and Zero armor were actual suits that would only sometimes be rendered in CGI for certain movements or fights due to their inflexibilities. The show is very pretty to look at, especially with some really interesting camera angles that do make you feel like you're playing a video game. I love this camera angle from the first episode that just makes me think this is Dante from Devil May Cry wearing a white coat instead of a red coat, and of course has brown hair instead of white hair. No, he's not Twilight May Cry. Speaking of the fight choreography, goddamn does it rock. Like I said before, there are no physics when it comes to fights, which would send Isaac Newton up to Gaia in vexation had he still been alive. Here's just an example of a few of my favorite fights from this show. If you're not sold now, I don't know what you're waiting for, but let's talk about the music. How can you not love that kick-ass soundtrack by Shinji Kinoshita and Koichi Ota? Their tracks, from the fight scenes to just the atmosphere around to moments of terror, all fit perfectly well into this thought-out oiled machination. Both opening songs rock, although I do prefer the original theme from Triforce. compared to Jan Project's Garo, Savior in the Dark. Regardless, they both do a great job of getting you into the mood of the show. The ending themes are kind of cool as they sound like something out of Castlevania, with the first one being from Kimoto Masaki. And the other one from Garo Project. Now, if there was one minor nitpick I had with the presentation of the show, it would be in its aspect ratio. And it's not really a fault of the show, it's just because of how it aired. The first season was filmed in 4:3 because it did come out in 2005, where every season afterwards that came out in 2011 and above was filmed in 16:9. This means that the first season you have obviously black screens on the side of your TV, where the rest of the seasons are perfectly fine. Again, it's nothing that is the show's own fault, just the timing that came out. It's just kind of weird to watch one season in one format and the rest in the other format. And I mean, it's not like Sentai where each season is its own series, so it doesn't matter. Whereas here, it's kind of weird. It's kind of jarring if you marathon the whole thing. Just like other shows like One Piece that do it. It's just weird. But it's just a minor nitpick. I wanted to bring it up though. Oh, and yes, I know that you can always zoom in, but then you lose part of the picture. So, the episodes. The beauty about Garo's episodic nature is that you get to experience each episode as if it were a short horror film. And as I said, you get to sympathize, kind of, with the victims of the week while also getting to enjoy an overarching story with our heroes. This makes it easy to introduce the series to someone who knows absolutely nothing about the franchise, as almost any episode could be utilized to garner their interest. Of course, there are a few episodes that do require seeing previous ones to fully understand everything that is occurring in it, as is the case with my favorite episode, Magic Bullet. Normally I would go over the details as to why this is my favorite, but I feel like that would ruin the impact of the episode as it features a concept that I'd never seen done before, making this episode quite emotional to the characters of the show, while also providing us with some of the show's fine choreography and atmosphere. Although if there is one minor gripe about with the episode, it is that Koga's character shields are up to the max in it. Another favorite is Game. Dandelion steals people's souls through a game, and of course one of the victims is Karu. This in turn means that Koga must go through the joys of playing his game in order to win Karu's soul back. As for my least favorite episode, it is easily the clip show episode, Promise. It's a clip show, so there isn't too much to say. On the other hand, it does give us some good information on how the Makai Knights work, plus it has a cool, quick train battle at the end. However, it's just a clip show, so nothing really worth seeing more than once, if at all.
Oh crap, that's bad. That's really, really bad.
Aside from that, I can't say there's any other episode I dislike to warrant putting it on here. They're all great episodes. While the main attraction may be it being an adult show, that doesn't mean it isn't without its humor. For every dark and serious moment like this, we do get treated to a nice comedic scene like this. I love this show. The Blu-ray. Kraken Releasing has given us a solid release with this. The only gripe I have is that the subtitles are locked, so you cannot turn them off. As for translations, they appear to be quite accurate outside of maybe 1 or 2 lines that I found questionable from a grammatical standpoint. Thankfully, there are no mistimed subs. The audio and video quality are top notch, and the episodes look a lot clearer than they do on my Region 2 DVDs.
どういうことだ？月だ。月が奴の本体だ。
The biggest point of contention I have is that the DVDs in Japan contain the 7-part making of feature along with the bonus special episode that are not present here on the Blu-ray release at all. Sure, the bonus episode was just a standalone story that had nothing to do with the series itself, but it was still counted as a regular episode on the DVD. I believe the episode even aired on TV, so without it, it does feel a tad incomplete. Garo introduced us to a world that is summed up nicely in its opening monologue.
Where there is light, shadows lurk and fear reigns. Yet by the blade of night, mankind was given hope.
Getting to see these characters grow over the course of its 25 episodes was a real treat, as was getting to see the different personalities and stories and perceptions surrounding the victims of the week. Add on top the superb camera work, music, and choreography, and you have yourselves one of the greatest Toku shows of all time. I give Garo a phenomenal 5 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. If you know absolutely nothing about Garo, this is the place to start because this is where it all derived from. Even the anime series that Funimation has been releasing. Kraken has given us a phenomenal Blu-ray worthy of the title of Garo. And you should definitely pick it up even if you have not seen it, because buying more of these means that we may be able to get the rest of Koga's story in the States. Until next time, Merry Christmas all. Bye.
まずい。母親の顔が見たい。